Welcome. You're listening to Behind the Home Build, a podcast dedicated to all things home building. Whether you're a home builder, home buyer, or something in between, we're here to connect you with the industry experts. My name is Danny Langerman, CEO and Mortgage Loan Originator. With me is my son Riley Langerman, Mortgage Loan Originator. All right. Today we've got a very special guest. His name is Robert August. For you that don't know him within the Home Builders Association, he is a pretty big deal. One of the things he is definitely known by is his bow ties. And so in honor of him, both Riley and I decided to wear our bow ties today. So, and Robert, how many bow ties do you have?
65.
So he's got quite a few bow ties, which is fantastic. So,
Excuse me,
yes.
they're seasonal.
Oh, there you go, which is even better. So even though it doesn't need an introduction, a lot of people may not know some of this, so I'm going to go ahead and give him his introduction anyway because he deserves it, and he's earned it. So Robert is one of the most distinguished, award-winning marketing, management, and sales strategists in the world. Robert's been in the construction industry for 52 years and has helped merchandise more than $48 billion, that's with a B, dollars of residential, resort, retail, recreational, commercial, institutional, industrial, and governmental real estate, as well as other business products and services. Robert's the founder and the president of North Star Synergies Incorporated, an executive business development strategy firm. Robert specializes in management, marketing, and sales consulting in the real estate industry and beyond. He created the Denver-based international firm in April 2011 after 28 years of outstanding executive business development with S. Robert August and Company. And out of all that, one of the more important things, Robert also has served in the Arizona National Guard and U.S. Army Reserves. And we definitely like to thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming and joining us on Behind the Home Build podcast. One of the things that we've spoken about is you actually got into this industry back in 1970, which is the year that I was born. So you've been doing this an awful long time. So, back in 1970, what drew you into the home building industry?
It's a very good question. And I was very, very, very fortunate to grow up in a family business that was both national and international in scope. And I was the only one of the fourth generation that wanted to enter into the company full time. And once I jumped in with both feet and started selling products and services on a daily basis, it came to my attention that the business was not going to be favorable in my growth direction. And family businesses are very interesting, and to say the least, as a fourth generation participant, I learned a lot. And realizing that it was not going to be my business as I had been groomed, I was very fortunate to be introduced to an industrial psychologist by my father-in-law, who had also a large national and international corporation with 16 fabrication glass plants in the United States. And he introduced me to an industrial psychologist that was on retainer, and I took a battery of tests, and it came back very interesting. The feedback was that I was destined to be in sales and sales management. And I was introduced to a company, and they felt, since I didn't know too much about construction, the first job that would be great for me in that corporation, which at the time was the largest home building company in the United States, with 214 franchise builders throughout the United States.
Wow.
So I learned the art of customer service, which is sort of a little backwards when you learn sales, because usually it's one of the last things you learn, but frankly, it turned out to be one of the best things that I could do, because I learned all the mistakes that our builders and developers were making. So as a result, I was able to overcome negligence and overcome mistakes more quickly as a resolve of become pragmatically educated in the construction industry. So that's the quick.
That's great. That's great. Anyone that can have that kind of experience in doing what you're doing right now is definitely a plus.
Yeah, the big thing I would share with you and Riley today is that the good news of my academic and practical experiences early on were revolved around labor management relations. And in learning about collective bargaining and negotiation, you can integrate a positive win-win situation for everyone that you're working with, because it's not how smart you are, it's not how great you are, it's how smart and great you can make your buyers feel, and helping them earn the opportunity to work with you by developing trust and respect. And I know that this forum is very, very important, and I wanted just to share before we jump into the next question. One of the tantamount things that I learned in sales, the first thing you have to sell is yourself. And you have to build that trust and respect, that consideration, that cooperation with the buyer, whether it's a consumer or it's business to business. People buy people, and oftentimes it's lost. And what I'd want to share with you, once you gain that confidence from your buyer public, the next thing you want to do is sell your company, sell the virtue, sell all the unique marketing and selling propositions of your company. And then as you've earned that respect, then the third sale are all the outstanding products and services. For example, here at DHA Loans, it gives you the opportunity to be the master of all mortgage loan originators as a direct result of the experience that you've maintained. And I'm here today, frankly, because you are outstanding, exceptional, and extraordinary at what you do from a permanent mortgage perspective. And I congratulate you for your outstanding service to the industry and for helping so many consumers become educated about the art of purchasing a home.
Well, we appreciate that. Now, this podcast is directed towards you, though, just so you know.
Oh,
So this is all about Robert August,
Okay.
and you definitely are. You're a giver that way. I mean, your accolades, they don't ever stop. So, just looking at the stuff that you've done, you've worked with 750 plus builders here in the Denver metro area, 2,000 companies nationally and globally. So I guess my question for you, what is your business? What are you looking to do? What is your perfect client? Who are the people you're currently working with? And where do you take your business from here? What are your goals?
So, in essence, who are we? What do we do? Frankly, I know it's going to sound very pedestrian. I'm at a point in my life where I don't want to have the biggest corporation. I never did. I wanted to have the best. And I can look at every community that we developed with sales and marketing. Sometimes we would get involved within the infrastructure, the entitlement process of developing master plan communities. One of the things that I started to realize early on in my career is that you've got to surround yourself within your company of the best possible talent, people that are smarter than I am. And that helped me by working with teammates that could teach me how to be a better me and have a better company. The other aspect is I want to have fun. I don't want to be stressed out. And over the years, you learn, for example, in the mortgage business, you learn that there's repetition of a template and how to work through the template, because every customer that you meet, and it's the same way in our world, every customer is different. They all have different needs and wants. Some are brighter than others. Some are less bright, and they need help, and they need to be educated. You have a situation where you look for customers that are going to be true to themselves and their company, that they're going to be the type of people that you want to work with. Most people, we don't tell everybody who we work with for a couple of reasons. Number one, they probably don't want us working with their competition. We're the same way, and what we found that we want to work with people that are goal oriented, that are accomplished, and if they are not accomplished, are they willing to learn? Are they willing to rise to the occasion to take your expertise? And most consultants are lucky to have 2% of what they try to educate their customers learn. We took a two-pronged approach, and we have a real estate division and we have a consulting division. And most of the competition that we have throughout the United States bundles both together. We don't. And the reason is that we want to work with people who are capitalized, because you can't put together a marketing campaign to list one home or 100 homes the exact same way. You need to market a 100 home community or thousands of acres the same way that you would a retail mall or a retail store in a smaller scale. And the direction is making what we do seamless to the builder, seamless to the developer, and to the manufacturers and vendors, and to the mortgage companies and banks that we work with nationwide and also on an international scale. So hopefully I'm answering some of the questions. The goals are simplistic. What we are so thrilled and proud of is that every time a developer, a builder, a manufacturer lets us add value to their plans of action, be it a business plan or a marketing plan or a sales plan, we're able to accomplish the goals. When there's resistance, when people don't seem, they hear, but they don't listen, and we find ourselves in a situation where we're not making the progress that we need to. So what we do, we strive to meet all of our customers, our clients, all the time on a weekly basis, and sometimes 2 and 3 times a week in order to facilitate the best plan of action, but more importantly, to implement it, to make sure that everybody's on task and everybody's on point. So we hope to be continuing to do the same thing. I was getting ready to walk out of a meeting the other day, and I saw another party in an office that I had worked with previously. And the party came over and gave me a big hug and kiss, and I was, of course, overwhelmed and happy. But at the same time, she said, "Why aren't you retired?" And I said, everybody that I know that's OCD or type A, 6 months after they retire, they get sick. And usually within a year to a year and a half, they're dead. So, I really enjoy what I do. I spend a lot of time educating companies, educating individuals through trade associations. And it's a tremendous opportunity for me to give back to all those who want to learn.
Yeah.
I think we could all use a little bit more of that mindset, Robert.
Well, thank you very much, Riley. Our operators are standing by at 303-500-3400 anytime you have a question.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. I forget how good you are with numbers. You touched on you kind of being groomed to take over the family business. And I see that you have brought your son, Jason, into the industry. And I wanted to kind of ask you what role he plays at North Star Synergies, how that came about, kind of bringing him into your company and then working the dynamic with your son as well.
So Jason came back to work with us with his expertise, working with a much larger corporation. And again, we were more of a boutique company, specializing in real estate development and manufacturing. And he parlayed his expertise with us. And our premise in our real estate company has always been to sell new construction, to lease new construction, commercial, residential, whatever it might retail, and sell land. And that was our pivot in our business development platform. Jason wanted to work not only doing that, but also selling existing homes. So he realized our platform was a little bit different, and he developed his own corporation to sell real estate and develop Gourmet Real Estate, which I consulted with and helped him on his real estate development. But having the acumen of learning the business, taking the courses, becoming a broker, he did extremely well right away. Then he also developed a corporation called Advancing Development, which launches corporations all over the globe. And Danny, you'll find that your proteges here today, Hunter and Riley, are doing so many things that you don't know about. And indirectly, we find things from Jason that he's doing to help us or certainly build his own companies that we never knew about. But on the other hand, he's a business development wizard. We're getting ready, we're preparing a distribution network with a series of companies right now. And one of the things that I did learn at Ridge Homes in 1972 through 74 was how to overcome supply chain disruption. And we're applying the same techniques that I learned 52 years ago almost, to real life situations. And we're talking about working in the Caribbean and Central America and Northern South America. And all of a sudden, Jason says to me, well, I have an associate in Medellin, Colombia. And Jason, what do you mean you have and not only is he a protege, but he's a really close friend. Who is this guy? You know, Jason never told us these things. We keep learning to learn, even from our children, without question. But and I'm going off into a tangent, but Jason collaborates with us on real estate sales and business development activities.
I like that. I got another question for you. You touched on your kind of real estate and your consulting business. If I'm a new builder in the market, obviously pretty competitive market nowadays, what are you going to do, your consulting firm, to help launch my business as a builder, as a new builder in the market?
The builder, to enter the market, must be capitalized. This industry, whether you're a developer or builder, is very capital intense. And just because you might have learned a few tricks working with a merchant builder, working with another custom builder, doesn't mean that you can immediately translate it into profit. And as a result, we would recommend that every builder have the capital to run a corporation for a minimum of 12 months and a maximum of 24 months. Because so many people come in, think that they're in a good market. Any builder who's been in the market since 2011 does not understand the term recession nor depression. And there's an old adage that I learned years ago growing up in another recession, and I've been through 8 of these. And, you know, when the guy across the street is unemployed, it's a recession. When I'm unemployed, it's a depression. And so a builder needs to be capitalized coming into the business. Does that builder want to be selling remodel projects, and helping individuals? Does that builder want to be also pre-selling existing homes? Or does that builder want to start building inventory to sell, as we would call speculative built homes?
So if you're going to start working with a builder, the ticket to get in the door is that a year's worth of capital to run the business, essentially.
Absolutely. Everybody's got to be paid. The other thing, when you're we'll call it the new fellow on the block, the new kid on the block, you've got to pay your bills. And one of the things that we almost have as a mantra, we instill in every builder, pay your bills as soon as you get them. Don't do 30 days. Don't do 45 days. Don't do 60 days. pay your bills right away. And if you pay your bills right away, you're going to earn more respect and consideration from every company that you work with. And in today's market, for example, in metropolitan Denver, and in most major markets, it takes 100 companies to build one home.
Yeah.
So there's a
cow.
lot of juggling. There's a lot of management. And in essence, as a new builder coming into the market, if they don't have leadership skills, they better go to school and get behavioral organizational management skills. They better earn labor management relation skills. Because if they don't, the subcontractors, the vendors, the service companies, the trades will walk all over them. And a home that should take 6 months to 7 months to get built will take 14 to 18 months to get built.
Is it fair to say that you're seeing more of these new builders that are coming into the market? Are they breaking off from existing builders? So that's where they're educating themselves and understanding how it works to get into being their own boss.
Yeah, and it's a great question. The other issue is because you're entering into the business, the old adage, don't bite off more than you can chew. And everybody has visions of grandeur, but at the same time, I mean, the elemental things that take place are so important to be as organized as possible. I would also recommend that every builder not be a paper builder. There's so many people who come into the industry with financing and accounting background and have never built a home. And they don't know how to go out and hire the best superintendents, the best subcontractors, the best vendors. They think that price, it's all about price. And I'll never forget one story that I can share with you. We had a builder building with us, and the first community that I created here in Metro Denver was the ranch development at 120th and Pecos. And nobody believed before I got there that you could ever sell high-end product in Westminster, Colorado in 1977, 78 when I came. And we were able to go out and recruit a lot of builders and bring them in. And while we were waiting for a closing one day, there was a builder sitting across the table from me from A&M Custom Homes. And Tony Barshevsky was just a wonderful, wonderful gentleman and a great builder. And here he was closing on a series of sites. And we were talking about the fact that in a tough year, he would close 35 semi-custom homes. In a good year, usually 65 to 70. And I said, well, how can you keep pace with Richmond, who is selling so many more homes than you? He said, I'm a little bit different. I said, well, what makes you different? He said, I pay my bills every 2 weeks. And if somebody comes in at 10 of 12 with an invoice, they get paid, even though the bills were due before 12 o'clock that day. Everybody gets paid every 2 weeks. The second thing is that we hold on to almost 100% of all of our trades, service companies, vendors, etc. And I said, well, how do you do that? And he said, it's simple. You go out on site, you're there with them, you manage them as if they're your children, and at the end of the day, you get a great home. And it was a great lesson for me to learn from Tony in 1979.
Yeah.
And there's just, a host of different things. I mean, a new builder. So those are some quick tips. There was another builder that was he would do 40, 50 homes a year. And I was sitting with him at a meeting, and I said, I never see any ads for you. I never see any PR, public relations, or promotion. I said, how do you sell as many homes as you do? And I was working for a gentleman by the name of Phil Wynn, who was a master marketeer, developed a tremendous amount of communities in Metro Denver, commercial real estate as well. And what Mr. Horner told me, he said, wherever Phil builds a community, I buy the land across the street because I know he's going to spend a lot of money attracting qualified buyers. And I build a similar product, similar price point as Phil, and I become the alternative solution. So if they didn't like Phil's homes, they would buy my homes.
Right.
And so these are, these are quick tips, but they're tips that I learned from other building professionals over the years and emulated them and integrated them into my portfolio.
And I know you're a huge proponent of local home builder associations. For example, the Denver, Colorado Springs, and even Fort Collins. From your perspective, what do these home builders associations offer to home builders, affiliates, and even the general public that you would promote or even speak about?
One of the things that we spoke about with Riley's questions today revolved around education. And what the association does, it has a series of different pillars. Advocacy for a builder is probably the most important. An individual builder will probably not have too much success when it has a problem and it goes to a jurisdiction. But when you're working with a trade association and the trade association goes to that jurisdiction, representing in last year's total $5.4 billion of residential closings and 92% of all of the residential permits obtained in Metro Denver, the jurisdictions listen because the jurisdictions also know that our trade association employs well over 25,000 people. And those 25,000 employees are just not employees or people. They're voters. And if you don't take care of the trade associations are not going to take care of you. And so advocacy, government affairs is very important. There's a political action PAC that's a group that's formed separately from the association because you can't have political action committees as part of an association by virtue of bylaws and rules and restrictions. So the association works hand in hand with these build packs, in order to elect the best officials that will represent the building industry to help us with growth. Most people don't understand that the reason that the cost of real estate has accelerated, and it's always been higher here than in many other places in the United States, and it's predominantly because of water. And senior water rights were granted to other landholders and jurisdictions back in the 1700s in California. Los Angeles gets our water before we do through the Colorado River. When you look at other rivers, the Platte River really feeds the Midwest. And the people in St. Louis get their water at a much lesser price than we do here in Denver. So working through trade associations, working to overcome various entitlement issues to help facilitate growth is very important. The other aspects, the other pillars that we work with are education and networking. And we spoke earlier with Riley's question, and I think it's really interesting. We have a plethora of courses in every aspect of the construction industry provided by the National Association of Home Builders, which is the master federation of the approximate 700 locals nationwide. Denver is just one local of 700. And when you have the ability to learn from your peers as well as other instructors who are knowledgeable about the industry, it adds so much more value. And by taking these courses, whether in person or virtually, it gives you as a builder, as a salesperson, as you are, Danny and Riley, a leg up, on your competition. So, and then you, in addition to all of that, you have the ability to meet great people, like the Langermans, and you exchange information. You have a peer group. I had the good fortune of working with Danny and Jennifer for several years. I answer a lot of questions for Danny and throughout the year, and it's fine. The more that you, frankly, the more that you give, the more you get. And it's a pleasure to serve on education committees at any level and provide education and mentoring as well. So these associations have different programs for idea exchange, for mentoring, having the opportunity to learn together. And in addition to all of that, they also have a myriad of benefits. In addition to working with various companies and getting to know their incentives and their benefits, you also are participating in a club. So everybody's going to be on their best behavior. And that's also, a wonderful asset of any trade association. And I think the other point from benefits, rather than just meeting individuals that can help further your business, you also have tremendous discounts on automobiles, tires, on Dell computers, the UPS. There's just wonderful other benefits that you can inure, not only for yourself, but also to all of your employees. So, in a nutshell, working through the trade associations, having an opportunity to grow our business. We wouldn't be working internationally as easily today as we are without having earned leads, picked up qualified leads and referrals through many of the other participants that we work with around the country.
Yep.
So it's getting and having an opportunity to reach out, and meet people and grow your business platform.
Yeah, I think what stuck with me there throughout what you just said was something that I heard my dad say throughout my childhood when I was younger, and that's the more you give, the more you get back. So I think that stuck with me as a child, and hearing you say that, definitely pulls on some strings for me, because I think just doing things for other people, using the platform that, the HBA, the Home Builder Association, and all the other trade organizations that you kind of touched on, that you've used to reach as many people as possible. I think, for me, that's what I got the most impact from.
I'm going to go back to this because I think this is a great thing. You were inducted recently into the National Association of Home Builders Hall of Fame for your exemplary service to the industry for marketing, management, and sales prowess. Right? So you're the only marketing and sales professional to receive this honor since the association was founded 80 plus years ago. So tell us, what does that mean to you?
Well, there's no question. It's a wonderful testimony to what I would venture to say has been a fabulous career and marching forward. To be recognized by your peers at all levels of the industry is just fantastic, and I'm very appreciative, of the honor that I received, and knowing that this is the largest construction trade association in the United States, with 140,000 companies and over 10 million employees. It's a great honor, and one that I'll cherish forever and long after I'm alive.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
It's
Robert,
awesome.
On that note, we thank you for coming in today and speaking with us. It's been a great honor and pleasure. But we want, if any of our viewers want to get a hold of you for any reason, how can they contact you? What's the best way?
Yeah, our office number, it's better to provide my cell phone number. And my cell phone, the cell is spelled SELL.
Gotcha, okay.
And
Thank you.
so it's a cell phone at getting directly to me at 303-601-5840.
Awesome. How about any social media or email?
Email for you today is robert@northstarsynergies.com. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you,
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Behind the Home Build. It's a podcast for all things home building. He's Danny, and I'm Riley. And if you're interested in learning more from experts in the home building community, we're on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, and a few others, all at Behind the Home Build Podcast. And if you have any questions at all, make sure to send them our way on Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook at Behind the Home Build Podcast.